Hi there, welcome back to my channel. It's James here. I hope you're doing okay. Happy New Year. It's been over a month since I made a video of my own. I did a little collab with Rose from Yoga and Plants with Rose recently, but other than that, I've been completely offline on here. I've been basically offline on Instagram up until this last week, but I'm super excited to be back, and there's like a lot of interesting things happening already this year. A lot of intense stuff happening already this year. The UK is in another lockdown. I know that a lot of other countries are kind of in a continuing situation like that. We're just going to have to kind of get through it. But yeah, so starting off, just talking about this is not my t-shirt at all. Well, it is my t-shirt, but it's not my design at all. It's just a person on Instagram who contacted me and said she wanted to send me one. So this is a t-shirt that I was sent and I'm wearing it because it's nice. And I will link the Amazon page down below, I think, if you want to have a little look. Not getting paid, nothing coming from it to me. If you have little planty ventures that you want me to talk about, feel free to get in touch. I'm happy to promote cool ideas. I think it's fun. So I was kind of debating how I was going to do my transition into 2021. A lot of people have been doing like favorite plants of the past year, just kind of best experiences, wish lists for the coming year, all that kind of thing, all of which are amazing ideas, and I'm sure I will do something similar at some point. But I thought that given where we are sort of price-wise with rare plants at the moment, particularly AROIDS, I wanted to do a sort of, I think there are 8 plants that I've got here, 8 of my favourite AROID swaps in the last year. So there's a combination of Philodendron, Monstera, no Anthurium here? Yeah, Philodendron, Monstera, and there's a Syngonium. And it's just kind of, I don't know how to, these are all plants that I would not have bought if I had not been able to trade for them because the prices are just so high. So it's kind of a little nudge maybe to start swapping a little bit more. Like if we want plants and prices to be more accessible to people, I think the most active and easy way to do that is just by swapping rather than buying the plant. So if you have something that you want and you have like a rare plant available, maybe swap for it. I think, yeah, I'm really happy to get a lot of these plants. I wouldn't have had an opportunity otherwise to grow them, so it's really, really nice. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about them and share them as a kind of movement into this new year and hopefully a lot more trading. Now, obviously this is AROID heavy. These are all AROIDs. I foresee my plant journey sort of moving a little bit more into Hoya and orchids this coming year. Obviously I love AROIDs, it's not going to go anywhere. Obviously I'm wearing an AROID Addict t-shirt. That is not going to shift hugely. But yeah, I want my focus to be a little bit more in other areas this year. We'll get there. So I'm going to go through these. I'm going to give like a little bit of a background. Some of these are not full trades, they're partial trades. So I would have swapped one or two things as well as a little bit of money. I think that's just as valid. If there's a plant that's really expensive that you want, I think it's totally valid. And most people that I've spoken to are open to receiving a partial trade, and that we're just cutting down the price that you do have to pay in the end. So that it's more accessible, because we don't want to like get ourselves in financial trouble just for plants. Right, let's start with those partial trades, because I think that is like, these are like the not ultimate ones, and then we can kind of move through the full-on trades. And I'll talk about what I swapped for them, etc. So this first one, partial trade, is my Monstera Adansonii aurea variegated. A lot of these plants are variegated just because variegated plants are so expensive. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on too many variegated plants. Like it's going to pass, and it doesn't make sense to do that in my mind. Obviously feel free to do that if you want to. This is a beautiful variegated Adansonii. It's got some really, really nice variegation on the leaves, although typical aurea fashion, it's not really showing up yet. Give it a couple more weeks and some of these older leaves will start to be a little bit more yellow. You can see from this initial leaf here, the lighting's kind of washing it out, but that is really, really yellow. Yeah, it's a really nice plant. This is one that I got for a really good price actually, and I managed to cut that price down a little bit more because I partially traded it for a bit of Barmark's Fantasy, which actually I haven't sent yet. It's kind of a this coming year thing. But yeah, I just made the investment into that plant a little bit more accessible. I'm not I really like it. I like the individual leaves. Let's hold it up again. I think the individual leaves are beautiful. I'm not hugely mad on the growth pattern. I think because I have this in the grow tent, obviously, which is really, really nice with my plants, but it does mean that all of the leaves are facing up. So from above, it looks really beautiful. From the side, it kind of looks a little bit like spindly, but I'm sure I can find a way around that. I'll definitely do some propagating and sharing of this year. Really, really lovely plant. Doesn't come across super, super well on camera, but I recently posted a picture, I think, on my Instagram of this leaf, which is lovely. So go ahead and have a little look at that if you want to. Partial trade number 2. This is such a nice plant. This is one of the, I'd say, yeah, one of the ones I'm most excited about out of this. This is my Monstera obliqua Peruvian form, which is still in this little Tupperware. I recently took the lid off just to give it a little bit more space to grow. This is one that I traded for a Philodendron heterocraspidon, Philodendron heterocraspidon, and a Philodendron Bellmarks Fantasy, and then I paid for the remainder of it because they do go for a significant amount of money, and I just wasn't in a position this year when I'm working a little bit less than usual to invest that much money in this specific plant. I really, really like it. So this new leaf that it's got there, that is its first fenestrated leaf. Natural lighting is a little bit nicer for this. It's just such a nice plant. I'm really, really like honoured to be able to grow this, and I'm sure that in this coming year this will be a little bit more available to people. And when it comes to propagating, I will certainly be swapping with people for it. But yeah, really, really nice Monstera obliqua Peruvian form. I'm very, very happy. These are kind of really nice memories from this year because although things have been a little bit gloomy, a little bit terrifying on many levels, there have been some nice experiences throughout. So this is kind of what I'm doing here. This one is the interesting one. This is, well, one of the interesting ones. This is a full trade. This is the Monstera, I think it's drying out so quickly out of the crater. This is the Monstera adansonii archipelago. So this is the variegated Monstera adansonii. It is a very interesting one. It's continued to grow despite basically putting out no actual green variegation. I'm not hugely in love with this. It kind of has lost its charm. I think it just looks a little bit sick. It's beautiful, like sick in a beautiful way, but definitely a little bit sick. I traded this for a whole host of different plants. It's grown very, very well from it doesn't have any of its original leaves. This is all growth that has happened with me. It's got this weird habit of putting out basically white leaves, creamy white leaves like this, that gradually kind of go through this minty and finish off pretty minty, but just enough chlorophyll that apparently it can stay alive and continue growing. So that is nice. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm not really tempted to get another one. I think this is fine for me. Even if it doesn't produce any sectoral variegation, I'm okay with this. There are other plants that I will prioritize bringing into my collection this year, but I'm very, very happy to have the opportunity to grow it. Next one, another variegated one. There are four more, most of these are variegated, like we said at the start. This is my Syngonium red spot tricolour. I'm actually really excited about this. I think it's like a very different, very like interesting Syngonium. I generally do not love growing Syngonium. I just have issues with them for some reason. This is one of the plants that I'm trying in pond. So this is a lechuza pond pot. I don't have loads of these. I've mainly been using just normal pots with pon as a substrate, but I thought I'd have a little go with the self-watering ones. So far, so good. Actually, yeah. I'm beginning to be able to see the roots to the side. What did I trade this for? I traded it for a Majestic this year, a cutting of my Philodendron Majestic, and got it in just before the borders closed with Brexit, although I'm not sure how enforced that's going to be for a little while. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Like, I feel like it's something that's significant, that's new enough in my collection for me to be sort of significantly interested and intrigued by how it's going to continue growing. I don't imagine these will be very, very hard to get for a long time. Syngonium are generally just very fast growing and very easy to propagate. So I imagine, like, along with most of these are AROIDS. This year, I'm positive with all these people, with everyone stuck at home growing stuff, things will become much, much more available. Although I say that every year and prices continue to go up. So we will see. These two I'm very excited about. So we've got 4 more. I think it's 8 total. Yeah, 8 total. Both of these are large form Monstera, variegated Monstera, which I've been like interested in for quite a long time. I love the idea of just a massive leaf, which are beautiful by themselves. Like a green, non-variegated, huge deliciosa leaf is just stunning. Not that I really have space for that at the moment, but the added dimension of a little bit of variegation I think is just super cool. So The first one, leaves are trapped together, that I am going to talk about is the Sport. So it's a green variegated Monstera. It's a little bit dirty. The leaves are a little bit, they've got drips and deposit all over them, but it doesn't really matter. That is the leaf it came with. I was worried, obviously, whenever you propagate a variegated plant, you don't know how well the variegation is going to carry through, but it's carried through incredibly well. I don't know how well you can see, because the leaf is still quite young, so the contrast is not really there. You can see with this one, it will become a lot easier to see. But essentially, this whole side of the leaf here is variegated, and you've also got some splashes coming through here. So it's very cool. I'm very excited about it. This I traded, what did I trade this for? Oh yeah, for a bit of variegated Philodendron bilietiae, which I think is totally worth it. I've spoken about that before. And look at those amazing Monstera roots. They're just, of like all the AROIDS to grow, well, all AROIDS are pretty satisfying root-wise, but Monstera just tell you so clearly when they're happy in their substrate, and that is a happy plant. So yeah, large form, green, on green, Sport, variegated, deliciosa. Cool plant. Next, again, large form. This is the Thai constellation Sport that I got recently, and I've definitely spoken about this quite a lot because I think it's just such a weird little plant. I do love variegation. I know that it's not everyone's like thing. I don't prefer it to non-variegated plants. In some cases, like that white Adansonii and even the yellow variegated Adansonii, I think it's interesting, but I don't know whether I actually prefer it to the non-variegated form at all. I think it just adds something. It's just something cool. I don't know. So this is the Thai constellation with the weird like minty splashy leaves. This is just such a nice plant. I really like it. It kind of looks a bit sick as well, but I'm sort of into that as well. And these are the two new leaves that it's put out since I got it. It was a really nice chunky cutting, and it's grown very quickly in my grow tent. It definitely needs a new pot. The roots are coming out of the bottom of this plastic cup it came in somehow, because it's cracked, I think. Oh no, there was some little drainage holes made. So I'll be potting this up soon. It actually has a second growth point there. So if that comes through, I'll cut it in half and I'll be able to grow both of them and see which part does better. But yeah, I love this one. This I traded again for a Philodendron Majestic. The Majestic has opened up many doors this year. Very happy with that. Yeah, nothing else to say about that. Super nice. Two more plants to talk about. This variegated Philodendron ilsemanii. This is like, I cut my whole plant up. Variegation with the ilsemanii behaves in a little bit of a weird way, so we'll see if they come through with the same beautiful variegation that there was on the mother plant that I got. But it is doing okay. This new leaf has a decent amount of variegation. It's just enough that shows that it hasn't disappeared at least, and most of my other propagations are kind of more or less at the same level. So I will see this coming year what they want to do variegation wise. This is another one that I'm kind of hoping to swap for some cool Hoya and stuff this coming year. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about it. This I traded for a couple of different things. I traded for like a significant chunk of my Philodendron Paraiso Verde. It grew massive at the beginning of this year, and I think it was 4 nodes that I sent off along with some variegated bilietiae. So quite a large trade, but I think it was worth it. I really like, I think ilsemanii is like just a lovely plant. One of my favorite variegated plants, I think. I think it's one of the few that, along with I think it's one of the few that I think really accentuates the like natural form of the plant. I think it's just super pretty. It's a very unique kind of variegation as well. So that is a really nice one. And the last one that I'm going to talk about today, which is, I think, close to my favorite of all of them. There are a couple that I really love here, so I'm not going to say that. But this is my Philodendron linamii, which I traded with, I traded for a bit of ilsemanii when I first cut it up, and I just love it so much. This is the Philodendron that comes through with those bright, like bubblegum pink leaves. You can see the new cataphyll in the middle there. This lighting, which I need because the day is super dark already, but it just really washes out all the colours, so I need to work out something different for that. But I love it. It's like already getting so bushy, and the leaves are like, that new one there is just significantly larger than the ones it came with, and I just love it. This is Philodendron linamii, probably probably one of the highlights of my entire collection this year, I'd say. So yeah, that's it. That's the little collection video. Just a little bit of a recap through the trades and just showing that it is an option. It should be an option anyway for most people. Like the plant hobby shouldn't be all about money. Obviously people do have to, if they've invested a lot in a plant, they might want to like try and make some of that back, but I think it's just such a nice thing to do to try and trade and kind of circumvent that whole issue. I've got some interesting-ish videos planned, although I always say that and then I never end up doing it, more related to Hoya and some of my new orchids, because I have quite a lot now. I've got maybe 10-ish, 12 orchids that I'm caring for, but I kind of want to wait until they're a little bit more established. Some of them are, some of them less so. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about any of these or anything else, any suggestions for videos, stick them down below and I will have a little look. And if you want to see updates on all of these plants, check out my Instagram at slugplants. Subscribe to this channel if you want to. Hit the bell icon if you like. And I will see you very soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.